Welcome, everyone. It's November 8th, and it's Friday afternoon. It is 3 days after the election. And I just want to thank you all for watching my impromptu talk on the day after when I was in my kitchen. I've gotten a lot of feedback on that, really wonderful comments and questions and thoughts. And I will be going through those comments, answering and touching on the ones that I can. There's a lot. And I'm so grateful for the message being well received and shared. Um, so today, I have some questions submitted regarding the election, post election, now what kind of stuff, what for the US, and really fabulous questions. I don't know if I can get to all of them today, but what I'm going to do is whatever I don't get to today, I'm going to do tomorrow morning. And if I can't get them all tomorrow morning, I'm going to do some on Sunday. So I find it is helpful to keep the shows a little shorter, so you can watch it in one sitting as opposed to being here for an hour plus. And I think what I'm going to try doing is answering a few questions at a time, just on a more regular basis. So if you can't catch it live, that may happen. Yet you can always watch the replay, and we'll just go from there. I just really appreciate people reaching out and you wanted to participate in this work. So the other day on November 4th, I was really just speaking from my heart in the kitchen, which is also the heart of the home, or the creative center of the home. Today, I'm going to read the Akashic Prayer, and I'm going to connect that way. And we'll bring the masters and guides in to be available to answer these questions. So with that, I want to thank you all for submitting your questions. Every week, or when I do these shows, it's really helpful if you email your questions to me at betsy@betsygrady.com. And remember, Betsy has two E's, like Betsy Johnson, the designer, who I love. If you send them there, I keep them in a file, and I just go through them in the order they come in, so it's a little easier for me. And then always, if I have time, I will totally get to whatever is happening here live on the show and what might be coming through. So, all right, I'm going to read the Akashic Prayer, and then I will take a second. Okay. I ask God if He will have His shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the Lords of the Akashic Records, so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I'm allowed. Okay. Okay. So I always like to see what a general message is coming through. And it's so funny. The guides the other day, I don't know how many of you remember, I might be aging myself here, but remember the Jetsons cartoon? And where people were living in the space and they were flying through the air from place to place. And one thing that I was hearing, I was coming out of a dream. Now my guides want me to share this. This is why it's coming in. It's almost like we're entering into that age. We're going to really live into seeing the Jetsons for real. And so there is some truth to the imagination back at that time. So a lot of these Hollywood, creators, directors, writers, they do have a fascinating imagination, and they're tapped into something almost prophetic. So it's really curious, and we might be a little mindful of that as we see what's rolling out on the screens today. We might not be around to see that come to pass, but the Jetsons, they're saying we are moving into that age. And they said, but the Earth, what they want us to realize the earth right now, the people of the earth, the people of the planet, and this is not just the US, it's like nature abhors a vacuum. That's a law. And so where there's empty space, it's going to be filled. And we have been using the space on this planet, on the ground, for a long time, even in the ocean. Like we are building, building, building. We're filling up this empty space. And that is the laws of nature as far as nature pours vacuum. And what they're saying is we are now moving in, it's almost like we've maximized so much of the ground space and the water space, and we've seen buildings get taller, like we're reaching up. And they said we are really moving into that time where living like the Jetsons can become a reality. And it's like we're starting to fill up that upper space. Now, what they're saying is as people migrate up and we start incorporating the airspace around us, there will be a shift, there will be a balance, we will see more trees growing. So I'm not sure how all that'll work out, but they do want you to know there is some truth to that cartoon from back in the day. And if you haven't seen it, see if there are old shows on somewhere. Because things are changing. And the one thing the guides want to say is you, me, we all agreed to be here at this part in time. And it's not even we agreed to be here, we chose to be here. Like we chose to be a part of all of these different transitions. And we are watching, you know, the world change in just drastic ways. And so these natural disasters are coming in and forcing us to really look at how we're living and how do we live with this land and preserve it. And you know, they're coming in to change the landscape. And again, this political, you know, change we're seeing right now is also here to change the landscape. And while it may look scary to some, it looks hopeful to others. And it's kind of like they're both on the same end of the spectrum, if that makes sense. Love and fear are the two sponsoring emotions for every emotion we have. And so they're sitting at the same place. And so people want to know, how come love doesn't overpower fear? Well, it's because they're sitting in the same place. They're on the same access point. And that's going to come into one of the questions today. But they would have you look at, as you're living your life, are you coming from a sponsoring emotion, sponsoring thought of fear or love? And if you're not sure, they want you to be with that thought, that reaction, that whatever it might be, dial it down to what's sponsoring it here. And that takes some work. It takes some practice. This election is bringing highlight to that. It's bringing a highlight to the victim triangle. It's bringing a highlight to people that feel powerless, to people that feel they want rescued, to people that are angry. You know, that anger has been there for a long time. Remember, when we have, or anybody has, an angry eruption that can happen on a dime, you know, it just comes out of nowhere and it's just explosive. That anger has been sitting there for a long time. It's like a pressure cooker. And so that means there's probably a lot of childhood stuff that just happened, got piled on, you know, a vibration got set in motion then, and that vibration just kept attracting things that validated whatever was happening for them, whatever they were thinking about. But that anger's been there a long time. And so this election is bringing a spotlight to that. And it's asking everybody to really examine, how are you? And are you living from a place of fear? Are you living from a place of love? Do you feel powerless? Do you want to be rescued? And really, golly, there's so much personal growth in what is lying in front of us. And you know, a lot of times we determine how we want to be based on seeing behavior that we don't want to be. And so there's a lot of stuff happening right now. It's very personal for a lot of people. And at the same time, yeah, it's still polarizing. So you've got your groups of people on each side, maybe now relieved and hopeful that the election is bringing them, and the other side that's like, what the hell? What happened? Um, so you've got those two communities, and then you've got all the individuals there within it. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what plays out. I'll tell you, Aquarius, I'm not an astrologer, but I love following it, and it makes so much sense to me. And I have a wonderful astrologer friend. If if y'all are interested in looking at that, but Aquarius is Pluto's moving into Aquarius November 19th. So a lot of people are going to feel some relief here, mostly the Capricorns and Cancer that's on that same axis. Aries, Libra, too, is going to feel some relief. However, Pluto moving into Aquarius, and I just have to read you, I get this little moonlight. I just have her app that tells me the phases of the moon. So Aquarius is the sign of the future. For Aquarius ruler Uranus is or Uranus as people say, the planet that rules invention, disruption, rebellion, creativity, and even genius. Um, Aquarius rules all things that are not fully understood. That might include questions about dark matter, dark energy, black holes, the existence of parallel universes, where there's order and chaos, or even how or why astrology works. It also rules products and services that have not yet been invented. I'm thinking the Jetsons. This is a sign where innovations take place. Aquarius fosters experimentation, intellectual probing, spontaneity, and it also brings up challenges to authority. So, Aquarius teaches us the value of breaking with tradition, banishing outworn thinking, making way for the new. The sign's credo is rules are meant to be broken. Aquarius rules creativity, harnesses high tech models in all realms medicine, science, entertainment, and I could go on and on and on. So, the other thing with Aquarius is all about humanity. It's all about the social aspects of being here. It's all about community. It's all about finding a cause and partnering with people in that. And, it's like kind of finding your people. And right now, with the spotlight on the polarity in the country, I'm just going to say it like that, maybe. And I don't want to be negative. So it's easier to find your people, and that's going to create some new opportunities. Like I said, this is not about just two sides. This is about all the individuals within those two sides also. It's a very personal journey for every single one of you. So we'll get to the question soon, and just be open and curious. That's always my favorite thing. Be open, be curious. Like, we can't always see the bigger picture. We can't see often what's right around the corner. Yet our guides are always, always with us and leading us to our next highest and best. And so we're always being invited to come from a place from our highest and best version of self. And remember, sometimes we have to go to that not highest and best version of ourselves to remind us we don't want to be here. And anyway, it is the beginning of a new journey. There's no doubt about that. But watch for some real changes November 19th, right after that. And see if things they're going to soften a lot for everybody to a degree. I would say more on a personal level. But we're in for it. We are in for change. And Aquarius, Pluto and Aquarius is coming on the scene, and it's going to stir things up. So, hey, you guys, thanks for joining me live. Let's see here. If I can get to your questions, I will. I've got a lot to get to today, so let me start. Okay, I've got a couple of personal questions. Let me do those real quick here. And then I've got some ones really around the political arena. Oh, yeah. Okay. Can y'all tell I've had my afternoon coffee? Okay, here's a question real quick. Can you ask my guides if I need to offer support in the efforts of adding to the family? Okay. Let me see here. So I'm asking what is in your highest and best interest, if it is up to you to offer this support. Well, actually, I'm hearing yes, trust in the process, be open to the flow. So there's something in this journey I'm hearing yes to be open to. May not be the right timing yet. It might need a little bit more time, but I'm hearing yes. That's pretty clear. But I would say there is a timing issue to it. So be mindful of that. It might be something you decide in 3 months. So it might wait till the new year for some reason. Okay. Okay, now if y'all watched my talk the other day, I talked a little bit about Mari and that wheel of life. If you didn't, go back and watch it. It was on November 5th. Um, it's a short video, but Mari is a psychological assessment tool, and it takes a picture of your psyche, and its ability to cut through the layers of the mind and the ego is remarkable. Like, it is a foolproof test. You cannot fool. It's about using symbols and colors to determine where you are physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. It's a really remarkable tool. So this question is related to that. She says, is Mari training for me, or is there some other continued education that would best help me serve the greater good? Okay, let's see. All right, well, let's see here. I'm hearing yes to be open to it, to explore to it. And that would go, they like this question because they really feel that this is a question for many to hear. They would like to see Mari a more widely used tool to help people because it's just so extremely effective. So they said yes, pursue it, look into it, what you would need to do to line up with it. You would find it extremely helpful, and you would find it really rewarding. And that goes for a lot of you that might have interest in it. So it is definitely a tool they would like to see out there more. So awesome. Okay. Here we go. We're getting into some of the political. Here's one. Okay. I am struggling with friends and family who voted for Trump. My gut says to cut them off completely, but that feels a little impossible. I have an event with a friend that I want to cancel because I just don't want to be around her, even though I love her dearly. I'm not sure how to handle these feelings and what to do. I'm so upset and angry about the world that they have just unleashed on us. Now, I know this person. I am friends with this person. She has a daughter who is 19, and she's looking at the world from a very different perspective. And being young, being female at this time is there's a lot of uncertainty. It's really unnerving. So understand that's where some of this is coming from, and yet. Okay, so in answer to your question specifically, I'm hearing not to go. And I'm hearing it is helpful at this time to retreat. And it's like just go in the cave a little while. And it's not like you're hiding out. It's not that at all. It's almost like you're letting this stuff process through. And so you're still in a reactive phase. And they said to honor that reactive phase, because if you don't, you're just going to go and you're going to give face, and it's going to be fake, and it's going to not be your authentic self. And that's going to make you feel icky. And so they want you to honor this time to process these reactions, these feelings, these emotions, and just, you know what, I got to go get in the cave for a little while and deal with all this and get it to where I can be in a place of acceptance and peace. And then I'll go back out. I'll resurface, I'll reemerge. And that may be for a lot of you that are, how do I deal with family members or friends, that voted different than me. So just honor where you are today. Honor where you are today. Stay in the cave. Stay in your safe space. Have all the feelings you need to have. And come back out when you feel like those things have served you. I'm not going to say you'll be in a place of acceptance, because you might never be, yet you'll be in a place where it's not so raw. So, which means your nerves won't be so easily accessed. If you went out now, it's like your nerves are exposed, and it could be uncomfortable. And it's wise to not put yourself in that place right now. That's a great question. Okay. And somebody asked about Mari here as I was talking to it. So Mari is actually spelled Mari. It means Mandala Assessment Research Instrument. So it is working with a mandala, which is another reason the lady that asked the question might want to work with it. If you Google Mari Creative Resources, you will find the information there. Okay, next question. I have the privilege to being the human companion to a German Shepherd girl named Maggie. She came to live with us when she was 4. Her family was going through a divorce. She moved in to fit in with our lab and all the kitties. She's 11 now. She was born with hip dysplasia. Okay, she said right now she's getting weaker, much less stable, walks are shorter. Does she have any messages around when her time here in this physical world is over? She still has a twinkle in her eye, eats well, and keeps our other 2 dogs in line. Some days my heart breaks watching her struggle. Golly, you know what? I'm going through this now too with an older kitty. He's like 4 months shy of 18, and it's just, even me and doing what I do, it's like, it's just not easy with the animals and our beloved companions there. So let's look at Maggie specifically for you. I don't know if you've ever tried laser treatment for her, but it could bring a little bit of relief. I'm hearing she still wants to be here. For some reason, let me see here. She feels like her work here's not done. I don't know if there's a change in your household coming, whether it's family, career, anything like that, but I feel like she's sticking around for something, some kind of change that she wants to be there for. I don't think it's the inauguration next year, but there's something I would say in your personal journey that she wants to be there for. Like somebody could be retiring soon, or somebody could be moving out. Somebody could be moving in. I'm not sure what that is, but she wants to be a part of it. She is telling me that she absolutely loves Christmas for some reason. She loves that time of the year. I don't know if you're in a colder climate, but she loves it. She would absolutely appreciate some, like a red light therapy, a little red light heating kind of pad to lay on every once in a while. She thinks it's wonderful that you would be open to explore some different alternative things for her. And she's like Aquarius. She's happy to create the need to introduce you to these things. So interesting. But she's not ready. Will it be 4 months from now? It could be. Yeah, it could be. Could it be a little sooner? It doesn't feel like it to me. So I would say 4 months, could go to 6. She's got some real strength of will to be here. She really likes where she is, and she takes her role seriously. You got a really sweet baby there. So hopefully that was helpful. Okay, here's a question. Hello. I ask if Putin and Musk manipulated the U.S. election for Trump. It was all needed for Donald Trump win for each's survival in 25. Will investigation expose interference in Kamala Harris inaugurated in 2025? Okay. Now, I don't know if the guides will show the answer to that question, if they'll reveal that in particular, but let's just see what they will say. For sure, they said Russia has involvement in swaying things. And they would say Musk too manipulated some, I would say technology. I don't know, satellite stuff. I don't know, but is within his reach. And I'm hearing there is stuff there too. Here. Will it come to light? I'm hearing yes. I'm also hearing there is a diligent group of people working to find any information that might lead to exposure of misdoings, if that makes sense. Let me see here. You know, it's really interesting. What I'm hearing is the Harris campaign is very mindful of not presenting themselves like election deniers, like everything they were trying to discount before. And yet they know there's truth to it in the sense that there was scheming, there was manipulation. And so they don't know how to handle this and make it an issue without looking like they're doing the same thing, like you know, acting from the same playbook in 2020. So there's a delicate balance there. It looks like that they are trying to reach. I cannot tell you if she will be inaugurated or not. If I had to say right now, just on a loose trajectory, and if I look at as to like percentage wise, can I get a hint? I would say we're still looking at 60-40 Trump to Harris as far as the inauguration. Can that change? Absolutely. You know, but I'm not getting a definitive, clear answer on that for you. Will things be exposed? Yes. Are they trying to find a way to expose it without looking like they're following the same playbook? Yes. So there's a lot going on that we cannot see for sure. And the guides are just saying, and then this happens sometimes, they often say more will be revealed. Like it's just not time to know some of these answers. So, and I can only bring forth what they want to reveal. You know, future, some things are written in stone in the future, you know, or they're planned out on the soul's journey. And, you know, even America has a natal chart, if that makes sense. Even America is going through its own astrological process. So there's so many factors to consider. Not all things are written in stone. We do have what I call decision markers along our journey where we have an option to make a choice to go one direction or another. And that just defines the next avenue of our journey. The one thing is we're here, say we're going here, or we want to have a soul understanding by the time we get here. Now, if we start on this path, a decision marker says you can go this way or this way. Bottom line is you can't get off your path. You just might take a few more detours to getting to where you want to be. So with the path that we're looking at now, is it a decision-making path? Feels like the decision has been made, but I cannot tell you if it's set in stone. That I'm not getting. So maybe, in the next few weeks, we can ask that question again and see what's revealed. Okay. This is a long question, but it's a really good one. Let me see where I can cut this down a little bit. Okay. As I return to a place where I can find peace within myself, I do wonder why joy, hope, freedom, unity, themes that I thought were present on one side, weren't powerful enough to prevail over anger, fear, hate, and division. Abraham Hicks says that one who is in alignment with Source is more powerful than millions who are not. So, how is it that so many hopeful, happy people were defeated by fear? Or are we all misreading the energies? Were all these hopeful, happy people actually deeply fearful, and that fear compounded the fear shown from the opposing party, the victim triangle, as you discussed? Or is it that these people who seem to have so much hate for those who are different are joyful in their hate, and that joy is more powerful? I'm trying to walk my talk as a student of energy and light work, but I'm confused at the moment. I know the universe doesn't hear your words and responds to your vibration. Was it that the whole occasion was shrouded in pure fear from both sides? Is that it? Is that what happened? Okay, that's a really great question, because it is so confusing to people how, even on a personal level, when we're struggling with someone who is like a narcissist, it's like, oh my God, how do they always seem to keep winning? And it's like, why does dark always seem to prevail over light? And not that this was a race against dark and light. I don't want to suggest that. However, yes, there's fear on both sides. It's naming that fear, fear of uncertainty about the future, I would say, was both. Fear of, on one side, I would say there's a fear of there's not enough. There's not enough for me, and I need somebody, who's going to protect that and fight for me. And on the other side, there's a fear of how controlled I'm going to be in the future, and my freedom of being an American is limited. So yeah, there was fear on both sides, absolutely. And you have to remember, fear and love are on that same spectrum, and it's they're opposite ends, and there's fear on both. Hang on here. So the fear on the joyful, happy side, that fear was motivating our hope and our desire to see a different future. At the same time, now this is really powerful. I'm so glad you sent in this question. In our mind's eye is what the vibration is what the universe is responding to. So that's why they say the power of your thoughts are so strong. So thought, word, and action, the levels of creation. So if you were in my house and you were leaving and I said, hey, don't forget to grab your phone on the way out, in my mind's eye, I'm saying that because I see you forgetting your phone. Does that make sense? And what happens? You forget your phone and you walk out and you're like, oh my God, I forgot my phone, and you just told me not to. Well, that's because I manifested what I was seeing in my mind's eye. Now, if I said, hey, remember to take your phone, I'm in my mind's eye, I'm seeing them remember to grab their phone on the way out. So like this election, we are sitting here hoping for this bright, beautiful future. And yet what we're seeing is defeat Trump, defeat Trump, defeat Trump. And so it's almost like we gave that power. Now, hang on here. So in our mind's eye, what we're seeing is, what would this US look like for me if Trump wins? And so I got to keep, having hope and having joy and trusting in the happiness. But in the mind's eye is where we're seeing, like, oh no, I got to prevent this, prevent this, prevent this. And so it's kind of it's a level of creation manifesting that we would be all guided to think about, in the sense that, what is my motivation for this hope? Is it a fear that I'm seeing? And how can I replace that thought in my mind? How can I visualize a peaceful harmony, existence, and a new flow of energy in the USA? But no, a lot of us were seeing what we were fighting against, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying we were all fighting against. What we were hoping not to happen is what we were seeing in the mind's eye. So I would say there was power on the other side of them being able to see him in power. And I think they were more focused on the vision of him in power and what it's going to look like, as opposed to what would happen if she was in power. They were more focused on him in power. Does that make sense? And what all he was going to do for them. And so their joy and hope was probably stronger because it was a clearer vision for them to see him being in charge for them. Where for us, it was almost like she's got to save us from that. So, yeah, we all have to look at that energy of the victim triangle, that energy of fear and love, and I would say that goes down from in a big scale to individual. It's a really great question. I think it begs for more discussion, for sure, because that's a big question. And it's really, if you're hearing it for the first time, that level of creation, it's a lot to process, and it's a lot to wrap your head around. Like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. I got to think about this. But do think about it. Think about it. It's real. What we see in our mind's eye is so powerful. And that's why Einstein said, imagination is the first step of creation, or something like that. But imagination is at the root of everything. And that's because what we see here is what the universe is responding to. So we can't fool the universe either. Incredible questions. Okay, couple more. All right, and I'm seeing you guys ask here online, but let me get to the ones emailed first. Okay. Hi, Betsy. A warm embrace for you. Here's my question. Could the guides please elaborate on what they mean by disruptors from the previous discussion about Trump? In my field of innovation and technology, disruptors are often change agents for good, but that doesn't seem to align with previous disruptors that were described as in Stalin, Hitler, etc. Thank you. All right, that's a really good question. Let's see. Well, so back to the Mari. Disintegration is the stage before transformation. There are those here to play in that role of disintegration. They are the disruptors. So they are, in the end of all ends of things, here as a change agent for good. Something good, a blessing comes out of every tragedy. And so disruptors like those were certainly on a really depraved scale, really horrific. And I would say disruptors are also on a spectrum, from good disruptors to not so good disruptors. And that probably should be clarified. So I'm really glad you asked that question. Yet, that whole axis of disruptors, whether they're on the positive end or the negative end, like Hitler, Stalin, they all are creating change. And change always comes bearing gifts. It may not look like it at the time, yet all disruptors are agents of change. They're agents of transformation. And so your question is really valid. It's where that disruptor is on the spectrum, I would say, to the level they're disrupting. That creates a perspective if this is good or bad. In the end, though, transformation always follows, and that always brings freedom, harmony, balance, an end to a struggle. So cohesiveness, and then it's going to start all over again. We're in the cycle. Okay. So the person that asked the question, she goes, yes, what we shout no at, we get more of. Absolutely. One side was shouting no more Trump, and the other side was shouting yes, more Trump. And the universe heard more Trump. So that's what we got. Great way to put it. Excellent, excellent. I'm so glad you tuned in to summarize that for us. Wow, this is big stuff, you guys. Just think of the awareness and the evolution, how we're evolving through this, and how much more is going to come for us in this. Both sides. The other side, that phrase, be careful what you wish for. And so these people, now think about this. On that victim triangle, needing to be rescued. Yes, more Trump. He's our savior. He's our rescuer. He's going to make the U.S. great again, like a place we're proud of and want to live in, cutting out the immigrants and whatever. So we feel safe. We feel better. And we feel like we're taken care of. That side. What's going to happen is they've got victim energy that's wanting to be rescued. So you know what's going to happen? That energy is going to perpetuate. And so what they're going to realize is Trump is not going to rescue them. He's going to take care of himself and might be a little bit disguised here and there, but they're going to feel victimized all over again and feel like they got hoodwinked. That is just par for the course. It is the playbook of that triangle. And it's going to be really interesting and kind of sad to watch unfold. And but anyways, where we are, it's a journey, and we got to stay curious. Okay. All right. My question for the records today: what is the future of the United States of America after the 2024 election? Okay. So here's how they want to answer that. This is so interesting. When we've talked in the past about disruptors and natural disasters and how they come in to change the landscape. So they want you to think about the storms, the fires, the floods, the hurricanes. What happens is, let's look at the hurricanes, for example. This is what the guides want to use and what they want you to understand. So when a hurricane rolls through and it creates all this destruction, which it has often, they said when these areas start to rebuild, they rebuild stronger. They put new structures in place so that they can withstand future storms. And if you read about Florida, there's some communities in Florida that were right in the hurricane's path, but they were designed with hurricane forces plus in mind. Like hurricane forces we haven't seen. These places were designed and they were unscathed. Nothing was torn down, nothing was blown off. And so, what the guides would have us understand, this election, this change in power, is kind of like a natural disaster hitting the states. Even the people that want Trump, like it's kind of like they don't know that storm is coming. And those of us that didn't want Trump, we see the storm coming. Yet on the other side of this, the transformation part of this will be unity, will be community, will be both sides coming together, and will be restructuring and strengthening so we can withstand forces that we don't even know out there exist. And so we will rebuild, and we will rebuild smarter. And that's what they would have you know, that in this feels like weakening, in this divide, in what's happening now, again, it's necessary. It's like that hurricane had to come in to really get people realize we got to up our game. We got to restructure here, and we've got to build stronger and smarter. And the guides are saying that is happening literally and figuratively. Now, I can't tell you a time frame. Will it be in a year, 2 years, 4 years, 6 years? I'm not sure. That I don't see. But we could always ask again later if there's more clarity around a time frame there. But I'm not picking that up today. But I think it's really comforting to know that even the destruction of a hurricane, the destruction of communities are being rebuilt, like I said, stronger, smarter, and they're surviving these new, bigger storms that are happening without any damage. And if we could really see that's the path that we're on, that's really helpful, you know? And if we can envision, hold that in your mind's eye, that community that withstood the hurricane, I think it was Milton that just went through Florida, no damage. And if we could see that's our future and hold that as our vision, that no matter what comes, no damage, that's what will manifest. So, really awesome questions, you guys. Okay, let me see if I have time. I don't even know what time it is here. I'd like to not keep us too long. Let me go through here. Let's see if I can answer anything. All right, here. I'm wondering if I'm at the right job as far as pay goes. Do you see me somewhere else? I would say this. I see you somewhere else. I see more pay. And so what I'm hearing is you're not living into your worth. And you really have to see what that's about for you. And I'm hearing you're good at what you do. Yet there still feels like something a little different out there for you. And just even asking that question would indicate that you feel it too on some level. So you're not quite satisfied where you are. And that's what the guides want to acknowledge for you. So follow that little nudging there. Like there's got to be something else there, because I'm hearing there is. And more pay. Okay. From my main guide, may I ask for my message from my main guide, Luther? He's with me to guide my spiritual growth. Tried automatic writing. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Let me see if Luther's got anything for you here. Okay, Luther wants me to tell you that he loves you very much. He appreciates the connection with you, and he's so glad you have been open to this connection. And he said you're just getting started, as in really working with him, working together. And he is really looking forward to this journey, the things that will be opening up for you. Hang on one second. He wants you to pay attention to your body and where you feel things in your body. So if you have a thought, where do you feel it? If you have a feeling or emotion, where's it registering in your body? When you do automatic writing, he would like for you to put that together. Does this feel truthful? And if it feels truthful, where am I really feeling it in my body? Because that's going to become part of your language moving forward. And really relying on your intuition. And you're on a path that I would say you will transcend the need for automatic writing. Is a fabulous place to start. And you're training yourself to learn to trust what comes through, where it resonates, how it feels. And you'll get to a point, you will evolve to a point, I should say, where you don't need to write. You can just say, Luther, what's going on? I need a message about this, and you'll hear it. So this is really fun time. Despite everything going on around, remember, we still have our personal journeys to be on. Um, and that's really cool for you. So thank you. Okay. We're not meant to know. Okay. I'm just seeing what else I can get to you guys. I'm going to need some advice for this month. Okay. Okay. Well, for you in particular, they are telling me, so funny. They said if you're going to have the TV on, they want you to watch sitcoms. They want you to watch funny movies, funny shows. And they're saying leave everything else outside. Don't bring anything inside that reminds you of what's going on outside, if that makes sense. And I would say this political climate and the change of power we're seeing, or however you want to call it. And they, you know what? It's kind of like go in your cave, but your cave needs to be funny movies, funny shows, wonderful food, um, anything that will nourish your mind and your body with humor. They said is perfect. That's so cool. I'm sure we can all take from that as well. Okay. I've been doing a lot of healing work. What is ahead of me as to my life's purpose? Okay. So, life's purpose is a big question. It doesn't always get answered. I would tell you this. Most people, when they hit their second Saturn return, really step into their soul's calling. And that's when they have a lot of clarity around why they've had the journey so far that they've had. It'll all start making sense around that time. If you're already at that return and it hasn't happened yet for you, then you really need to look back and evaluate your journey thus far, the themes that have been present, and understand these experiences, these themes are pointing you in a direction. They've given your soul a particular language and understanding, and so your work's going to revolve around that. But our life's purpose, just on a higher level answer, really is our journey here. It is our birth to our transition and everything we experience in it. That's why we're here. That's our life purpose. Now we do come in, a lot of us, with a mission or a theme that we want to understand, explore. I talked to a lady today for the first time, and her family is really working the concept of bonds, like bonds between twins and siblings, and uh, what those bonds are like, when they're broken. And so it could be even something like that. That you're working. But I would say for you, what's ahead of you on your life's purpose? Let me see if I get anything in particular though for you, because that's a big general answer. They are telling me there's something around children. Now, it could be working with adults and connecting them to their inner child. It could be more your work in creating even paintings from a childlike innocence and without any rules. Children color out the lines. And and it's like, who cares? And can you create from that space where there's no room for the perfectionist, you know, um, where you can just be free to be you. And how do you create from that place? What you're bringing to the world's gonna. So if you create from a free spirit kind of place, a whimsical place, and you put your art out into the world, what happens is you are sharing that whimsy, you are sharing that playfulness, and it lifts people up. So there's something in there for you, I would say, with art, with children. If it's a mindset, it could be children's books, but it could be adult books that bring out a sense of play. I'm not sure, but I would say it has something to do with those themes. Oh, I've been streaming Looney Tunes nonstop. Good for you. Um, you know what? Yeah, funny shows, cartoons, whatever. Um, yeah, it's like we all need to kind of give things a break right now and let our minds reset and get a little distracted so our minds can reset. But humor, laughter is always like the quickest way to raise our vibrations. So, let me see. You know, music, loud music, um, incense burning. There's all kinds of things you can do to change what you're experiencing. And you're going to do that through your senses. So, what you're watching, what you're eating, what you're listening to, what you're smelling, what you're feeling. If you need to change your bedding, it's like do that. But how you change your vibration, your senses, uh, can really assist you in that. So, okay, you guys, this was a lot. Really amazing questions. I'm just so grateful for all of you tuning in and wanting to bring your wisdom forth in the questions that you're having. It's like it's so helpful to all of us. And I just thank you, thank you, thank you for wanting to share. So, all right. We got all the questions, so I don't think I'll be doing one tomorrow, but I am going to answer the comments that came through on the November 4th day, just my personal thoughts day. So, y'all could always tune into that. There's some really hilarious comments on there. So, all right. Have a great weekend. Whatever you find yourself doing, be kind to yourself and reach for some kind of fun, some way, somehow. Okay. Thanks, you guys. I'll see you soon.